Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good little shield. Come on, Link. Boom. Banter session is live. Share the link. Write a post. Happy Friday. Yeah, that's just what I do to share it. Happy Friday. Morning, Banter fam. Just sharing the link for Friday. Let everyone come on. Pull up with your coffee. This is an OG song. You know the song, eh?
Yes. Asia?
Yeah. Get it. Who's on this morning?
I saw them the Tutakaka Snap up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're really good live.
Yeah, she's unbelievable. No, Luce. Hey, Lucy, I made Sol and I watched Dragon Ball Z Broly.
Broly?
Yesterday. Yeah, the movie. Loved it. Me and him were hanging out.
Morning, team. Pull up with your coffee. The bro and you, eh? Dragon Ball Z has started.
Come on.
Yeah.
And he's like getting really excited. He's like jumping on the bed. He's like, he's blue. And they go like that. So he gets really excited.
Goes in Super Saiyan.
Yeah, Super Saiyan.
Oh, that's awesome. Morning, Nick. What is up, fam? We'll wait for a few more people to come on. As you know, we've got the battle-tested announcement that the bro has been holding on to. I'm excited for. He told me this yesterday, and I was like, yes. Yeah, that's all I can say, really. Anyways, but if you haven't already, you guys should do on your screen. There should be host a watch party. Click on that, because if no one sees the link that I share, they won't know that you're watching the banter. Yeah. They might miss out on the announcement. You know what I mean? How are we feeling? How's your week been? We weren't on yesterday, but that's okay, because I think we might miss Thursdays. Yeah. Thursday's a bit of a rush for us.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one. But it's good. It's good. We had a really good day yesterday. You
walked Sol to school yesterday?
Walked Sol to school. He was funny. He was like, why is it raining?
Yeah.
He didn't want it to rain. And basically, he wants to zoom in. So when it rains, he wants to be at home on his laptop zooming into class. I can't believe a 5-year-old would know that. But that's what he wanted to do.
But he does. But yeah,
we had a really good day. Our new rig parts arrived for the comp.
I did see that downstairs.
Yep. So this Sunday, we are going to hopefully do very well in putting the rig up, the new one. And then that's all for you guys for the battle tested comp. And obviously for 808 as a general.
So the rig's moving. This is the last week that we'll see how it is.
Yeah, Monday it should be in the new position.
All right.
Fingers crossed.
Excited.
I've been talking to Joe quite a bit about how we're going to do it. I think I have it in my head how it'll work.
Yeah.
But you are talking about me, who's not the greatest handyman in the world. So.
Oh, you're all right, bro.
Yeah,
you're all right. I mean, we laid all those those mats down there. I thought we did that pretty good with one craft knife.
I actually was reminiscing about that the other day. How when we did the turf.
Yeah. And how much glue we inhaled.
My God.
Absolutely.
Because I found
jobs.
I found the container at home. I've still got half of it at home.
Wow.
So I was like, ooh.
Yeah. No, not that. Anyways, let's get into it though, bro. Let us know.
All right.
All the workouts, hey?
All right. So all the workouts have been released. All right. So work in order. They were D-Day, Tank, Spitfire, Ambush, Grenade. Okay. So those are the 5 workouts that were released to you. That is not how they will be laid out on the day. We will not give you the order in which you will be doing those WODs until the night before.
Did you all get that? Happy Friday!
Happy Friday, Tim.
Happy Friday. That is probably the most exciting part about this now is that, yes, now that all the workouts have been released and they are good, hard.
Yeah, these are hard workouts.
Yeah, they are. And I take my hat off to everyone that is going to be thrown down. Don't be scared. This is you pushing out of the comfort zone. And what the bro has just announced then as well is, yes, it's not going to be in order.
No, it won't be in order. So you will receive, so registrations close on Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
Once Monday afternoon is done, we will then be able to finalize our heat schedules. Once the heat schedule is released, is finalized, we will hope by Tuesday mid-morning, we will then send out a big email to everyone with like parking, timings, links to stuff, coffee places, amenities, health and safety, COVID, etc. So a nice big email will come out to you guys, preferably, hopefully Tuesday night. And then on Friday afternoon, after lunchtime class here, there's a core group of us that will be coming in, and then we'll be setting up the whole place. We're doing a lot of moving, so it'll be quite a busy afternoon in here. And then we will then do a live video with the announcement of the workouts in the order that they are to be done. Now, for those that know me and know me really well, I am all about twists and turns, right? When I was in the military, it was no plan ever survived the first contact. No plan that you have will survive this WOD, all the workouts. So there are more twists and turns that are coming. They're not like super gnarly where I'm going to strap a 20-kilo plate to you and make you try and swim. It's more like just keep your side outside your comfort zone, okay? There will be no change. I can say this, there'll be no changes to what the workouts are. All right, so we're not going to...
Yeah, confirm that all the workouts are solid, locked in, no changes.
No changes.
That's what they are. Chief has nailed it in the coffin. The workouts are what they are. So what are they again? Ambush?
So we got
tank?
We got D-Day first,
D-Day.
which was released, right? Which is the toaster bar front squat.
Yeah.
Then we got Tank, which is a 3 RM push jerk, the 3 RM cluster. We got Spitfire, which is the monstrous chipper.
Yeah.
That's a descending, ascending pyramid.
Yeah.
WOD 4 was Ambush, which is a 5-minute snatch.
Yeah.
With the hold.
Yeah.
And Grenade is the 2-part 9, 15, 21 handstand push-up sumo deadlift high pull into synchro grace.
You get that? Woo!
Boy, I'm never going to live that down. Mate, you had better got me a nice t-shirt for this video.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to representing RowFit.
Yeah, RowFit, bro. Oh my God. Corey's just put in twist number 2. The actual order is the same, but made us nervous all week. Could be that too, bro.
Yeah, well, you get it to know me pretty well, Corey.
One of the things that I think when I joined 808, and one of the things that I always remember is that you would always pull an ace of spades out, or it would always be an ace card, whether it be in zoo, whether it be in boxing, and this is like when I first joined at the old one as well. And this guy would always pull out these cards, and I realized that this became a pattern. And I was like, because every time I would feel that anxiety of like, this is already hard. Oh, wait, he's going to add on this as well. One thing that I am grateful for that ace is that when I realized he would pull out an ace, it was always to make us push to that extra limit. Yeah. Because that's the part that we would never get to. We were always pushing it, but we never did until that ace was presented. And so these things like this, like all this, I know it's scary and I know it's hectic and it's like, but it's actually, you're going to outdo yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that's just, and I think this is so exciting. Not knowing what order it is, so they won't know up until the day or when. So
they were going to know the order. You will know the order specifically for the first 3. Yeah. Because the heat sheets will come out.
Right.
And then the heat sheets, it won't actually say what the WODs will be because you'll get that on Tuesday night. It'll just say WOD 1 will be at this time. WOD 2 will be at this time.
Okay.
WOD 3 will be at this time. WOD 4. But that doesn't mean that that's like WOD 1 is D-Day because it was released. Yeah. It'll just be that will be the first workout of the day will be on that one there. So all I can say is just do your very best. That's all we ask of you. Just the whole concept of Battle Tested was threefold. 1, a goal of the gym has always been to put on a comp, and we just saw an opportunity and did it. 2 was that it gave an opportunity for people who wouldn't normally go into a competition or maybe try a level up than what they would not normally be able to do. Gives you an opportunity to try that. And then 3, I love barbells, and I just thought what a cool concept that everything should be barbell.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you go to a lot of comps, they try and flesh it out, right? A little bit of dumbbell and gymnastics, a little bit of weightlifting, a little bit of Metcon and aerobic capacity, barbell, traditional CrossFit, etc. I just wanted something that's just a sole barbell. That's your weapon. That's your theater of war.
Yeah.
We're going into it. So,
let's go.
and each one will be a battle, right? And that's why it's been given specific names as well.
Bro, I'm so excited.
It's going to be dope.
And the turnaround, like shout out to everyone for working behind the scenes.
Yeah, massive shout out to Autumn.
Yeah, delegating people. I think Autumn is still on the lookout for help.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the post on the 808 page, she's put a message up there asking if anyone can help. So comment on that. Gonna send it regardless, bro? Yeah. Liv, you're gonna be fine.
Liv, you'll smash
you and Garnham will be fine. It's gonna be so fun to watch. I'm really excited to see Lucy and Luke. Oh, Lucy and Luke. That was like a
Lulu.
Yeah, they're both
Lulu's.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is that there are people that have never done a comp like Liv and Garnham who are doing their first one and to do it in their home on their home turf. It's pretty cool. And we've got people as far as south as Takanini coming in. We've got Red Dragon, Mecca, Kiamaya, H1, Legacy. Thank you, all you gyms. The other gyms, sorry, just off the top of my head, I can't think of them. There's some in Browns Bay.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to support what we are all about. We've got some little admin stuff. I can say that all the prizes are coming in. I have a desk full of Killcliff over here.
Yeah.
Josh and Co have just messaged me and said that my stuff will be here on Monday or Tuesday. That'll all be here. I know Bayes Chiropractic, thank you very much. All your vouchers will be here.
Yeah.
Same with Benny Boy. All those will be here. What else? Fix.
Yeah.
Bro Joe with all his stuff will be here. We're gonna put up a post pretty soon with the link to Industrial Athletic are selling their ZBEX rowers, which are pretty good rowers. Yeah. And we're gonna be utilizing them in one of the WODs.
Yeah.
Almost dropped it.
I was like almost about to go.
Yeah.
Don't shush.
I almost dropped when that was gonna be.
What?
Yeah, that was close.
Jesus.
Too much coffee.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity for you guys to buy them at 20% off. You can take them that day. So there's some cool things happening as well. It's gonna be epic.
Good day. And if you didn't know, we're off to a road trip up to Whangarei this weekend for Cross Central Fours.
Central Fours.
Yeah. So who's in your Masters team, bro? First Masters event?
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, the old people.
So I've got Chantal and Fee. They're gonna be holding me and Paz up.
Yeah, mean.
Yeah,
pillars.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, my Wahine Toa will be sitting at us, and us old fellows will be leaning on.
No, it's gonna be mean. I know Beauty and the Beast we had up there earlier this year was such an epic comp.
Yeah,
I just hope the weather holds out. Anyone in Whangarei? Auntie Anna, are you on? What's the weather like? I hope tomorrow. Yeah, I hope it's not too bad.
But saying that, we'll make a day of it anyway.
Definitely. Last big one away, I think. This is the last one away. I know then individuals,
And individual that's just released. There's a swim event.
Is there?
There's definitely a swim event. So hopefully you guys have all been swimming.
Who's doing the row? Paz.
Won't be me. I'll be 4 seconds too slow.
Oh, Nick. Paz will definitely like that comment. What tune should we play? I just feel like, because that was an announcement and we're on the vibe. What are we on?
I was going to say Wu-Tang.
Yeah, it was Wu-Tang. Should we go Wu-Tang?
Cash rules everything around.
Me. Dollar bill, yo. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
What do you reckon, team? Happy Friday. Cheers. If you haven't, go register on the Battle Tested page. Monday is the cutoff day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Registration's closed. Let's do this.
Such a good song.
It is. What is everyone up to this weekend? While we're... There's a white party.
It's like a special party. Ronan was telling me about it. And then you get an invite and you don't know where the location is until the day of. And you have to dress all in white. And it's like a birthday party or like a champagne thing. And all the people go around.
And you're just in white.
Yeah, it's like the kind of 66. Like everything's white. The tables are white. The walls are white. So it's like this whole sort of, I don't know, and just under that concept.
Ah.
Roman's white.
Of course.
Yeah.
Any parties? Is that what the swim is?
No, that's what he was saying though. Is there a 20-kilo plate? With a 20-kilo plate? He ain't gonna let that down. Sorry, Kelly. He ain't gonna let that one down, bro.
Oh, sorry, Carly. She said, "Can't hear you, Abraham." Jetting to Martinborough to empty some of the wineries. Oh, you guys have a good weekend. That'll be good. Hopefully the weather's nice down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Whangarei should be good. What else have we got?
So when you road trip, do you eat food?
Yeah.
Like what's your go-to road trip snack?
No, actually I don't. I like lollies,
Yeah.
but like really, maybe some. Is it the New Zealand natural?
Yes.
What are the?
I like the party mix.
Yeah. They're the good.
Yeah.
That's a good party mix.
It's a good party mix.
And that's a good one to like leave in by the handbrake, and then you just like dip. Yeah. Yeah. What about you? Is that yours?
Yeah, it's mine. It used to be. This is back in the day. It used to be party mix, couple bottles of V, pack of ciggies.
Oh wow. And a pack of darts.
Pack of darts. Yeah, and the darts would sit in the handwell. Yeah. And then I had a lighter, like a cigarette lighter. So the car lighter, and I'd be like, and I'd just push that in because trying to light it and driving sucks. So
it honestly used to fascinate me, the cigarette car lighter. Like when I would have to sit in the car and wait for mum while she's in the shop or something.
Yeah.
And I'd how you start tattooing with everything.
Yeah.
And I would do it with the lighter, and it used to just fascinate me that how could this be invented? Like
I've seen it in a helicopter.
A cigarette lighter.
In the Iroquois helicopter, I shit you not, we were in East Timor, and I jumped in the back of it.
Seriously?
I jumped in the back of an Iroquois helicopter, which is like those Vietnam-looking ones, and in the front was a cigarette lighter.
I honestly, even that, like, why did they invent that? Anyways, what are your snacks on a road trip, everyone?
Oh, stories for the roadie.
When we go south, I am guaranteed to stop at the McDonald's on the way. Like it's like when you're leaving Auckland, it's like a McDonald's stop.
That BP.
Who else? Who else agrees with that? Yeah, that one there is like the drive-through Macca's. Yeah. Let's go.
Straight
have to. Like it's like I'll usually sit in traffic and get into that part, the Bombay part, and then have my Macca's, and I'm like, even before a CrossFit comp.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Mine's that BP. We go north. BP before Whangaparo.
Yes, the one off the motorway.
Yeah. I'll go in there and I'll get BK.
Yeah.
I get a dirty pie.
But BP's up their game. They're the ones with all like the
gangster.
The pies.
Sorry, Zed, but they're it, man. BP.
Zed and Gull's just ultra budget. So
unbelievable. I just saw Linda. You're going to do a 20K walker training Saturday morning, then erg assessment. Ooh.
What's an erg assessment?
So I got a feeling she's going to be doing some intervals. Are you going to do it on a rower, Linda, or are you going to do it on a walker machine? Either way, so they're going to be doing like how much power output, I would say, per stroke.
Damn. Is that harder than actually in the water?
When I did the erg training, I found they might have upgraded the erg, so I haven't been on a walker erg for about 5 years. But I felt like it wasn't as fluid, right? So when you're looking at fluidity with the catch and the release and coming through, I found like it would just jerk me a little bit more on the erg versus being in the water properly.
Yeah.
But, and saying that I wasn't the greatest individual paddler, I was a better 6-man paddler than I was a individual.
No, man.
And it's different as well. When you're a 6-man paddler, you sit higher in the water. When you're an individual paddler, you sit lower in the water. So the stroke actually changes.
Significantly, because your body would be in a different position, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, on a 6-man, you can get right over the top of it, right? And you can pull down and go across, whereas at the sit down, it's all at the trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know Auntie and Uncle got their walkers at home.
You should so get the boys into walker.
Well, yeah.
Sol would be so strong.
Yeah, he was actually walking that day and he's got these thick thighs and calves. He looks like my grandfather. You'll see a photo of him when you come up north. See these thick thighs. Man, you look like Papa. He's just like a brick. But if they've got the walkers, I'll see if you guys are keen for like early Sunday morning going on the water.
That'd be cool as.
If it's fine and calm, if it's rough, we won't go out there.
Walker machine, 500 meters.
Sprints, more talk. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So sprint nats are coming up, so that's the reason why they're doing that.
Mean.
Nice, Linda. Well, we look forward to
Yeah,
meeting
can't wait.
you on
Can't wait. Monday. Awesome.
Yeah. All right, send us a number.
Yeah, send us a number for our quote book fan for Friday. Excited about that announcement.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I'd be interested. You guys DM us or let us know what you think the order will be. We'll put up a post.
Yeah.
You let us know.
Might do a little spot prize for anyone that can guess the right order.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I might be able to get some Dose & Co extras.
Yeah, and
we'll
if you guess the right order, we'll give you a little spot prize.
You basically got like a 1 in 36 chance of getting it right. So
why 1 in 36?
So isn't it work? I don't know. I just made out a number.
Sorry, I don't even know the math. That's why I was like, what is that?
9/10 of stats are wrong anyway. Just look at the US presidential election.
What's happening there? I haven't seen anything.
Last I saw this morning was that Biden was 6 seats off from winning, and Trump was quite a way back. But it looks like Arizona's going to swing back to Trump, but Pennsylvania will swing back to Biden. It's a really like America, man. You guys have got a fucked up system.
So people can just like outvote other people.
Yeah. So the idea is that you got 50 states or 51 states, and in each state they have allocated seats. So some states like California have like 64 seats, whereas Montana might have 4 seats. Still a state, but different things. And so the idea is that there's 569 seats available. To win a presidential election, you have to get 270 of those seats. And in order to do that, that's based off the party vote and the ballot, and they just count them up. And if you win those amount of seats, then you win the lot.
You can tell I'm bored.
Yeah, I know, right? Sorry, that was that.
No, but I'm just like, I was lost at the part that so many seats and then only
and
less
it's so
amount
complicated.
of seats.
Like I'm not even getting my head wrapped around it, and I've been actually watching it the last couple of days because it's kind of like a soap opera. I don't look at it because
everyone's been like, "Oh my god, this is so like nail biting," but like the drama behind it.
Yeah,
so they can. So it's not the people that actually vote; it's the people that are already in charge that vote of those states.
No. So the people in those states. So like me and you.
Yeah.
If we're in Auckland is a state.
Yeah.
And then. How many suburbs are in Auckland? Like 50?
Yeah.
There'd be 50 seats.
Yeah.
So we would vote for Republican or Democrat in Rosedale.
Right.
So we're in Rosedale. And then, if Republican wins Auckland, it'd be because they win the majority of Rosedale or majority of Auckland. So it's 50 seats. Republicans win 49 of them.
Yeah.
It becomes a Republican thing.
Right.
It's 50 seats goes.
Robert! Morning, bro. Hope you we were just talking about America.
You're right there now.
Yeah. Do you want to jump on, bro, and give us? I'll send you the link now if you want to jump on. Give us a quick
2 seconds.
Update on what's actually happening.
Man, I miss you.
This guy's just been trying to explain it to me, and again, you can tell it's just no, So I'm going to send you the link now, Robert. Hopefully, you can jump on. Yeah, hectic. Okay, so America's just fully playing up.
It's funny as well because I was actually thinking about Robert because his NFL team, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. And
I think we're playing you this week, Robert. I think from memory, or I think we got Atlanta.
Yeah. He's going to give me 2. Oh, stay tuned, everyone. Robert Hollister's coming on the Breakfast Banter.
Yeah. One of our very good friends, the guy that kind of started all of this for us in terms of he gave us inspiration.
Definitely.
A very close friend of ours.
So he's Raiders and you're the
Denver Broncos.
You're Broncos.
Yeah, and we're in the same division, so we play each other twice a year.
Oh.
Yeah. Usually you play other teams once, but in your division, you play your division twice. So there's the LA Chargers, Las Vegas Raiders, Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then so we play those other teams twice.
Yeah.
And then
hopefully he's got the link there. Hopefully you can jump on, Robert. Is your team doing good this year?
No, they're doing terrible.
Are they?
Yeah. We had a lot of injuries. Our best edge rushers off. Our quarterback's not that great. So we did win a game.
Is your team like building?
Well, they were meant to be post-build and now onto a run, but I think they still need some work. They're not as good as they would normally be. But you never know. They did win a game, 31-30 last week, and that was they were 24-3 down with 8 minutes to go.
And they came back?
And they came back. So they got some swag, but they did play a team that's pretty shit as well. So it wasn't like they were up against a tough team. I think if they go up against like Pittsburgh Steelers or Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who the Buccaneers smacked us the other week.
Yeah.
We're not in for a good day at the office.
Are the Raiders good?
Raiders are really good. I really like their quarterback. Derek Carr is really good. They've got some pretty good edge rushers. Their receivers are really good. Their running back's really good. So I think they're going to do better than us.
Yep. And do you think they'll win your division? Like,
yeah. Oh, no. Kansas City will do that. There he is.
Oh, there he is, bro. Bringing you on. Morena.
How are we, team?
Not bad.
You're looking good, buddy.
Oh, give me 1 second. I'm going to get rid of that. Here we go.
Thank you for joining us quickly. I know you've probably got a live stream going on after this.
In a little bit. No, it was fine, but I saw it and I want to say hi to the team. How are we doing?
Good, bro. We were just we were about to round up, and then we just got started talking about the US shenanigans. Do you want to give us a quick rundown in Robert way what's going on? Come on, bro. Give me.
In a nutshell, if there was a potentially most pivotal point for the global impacts of what this country means and what it means for anyone around the world, this may be up there. It is insanely divisive. For a country that's supposed to be united, it is extremely the exact 150% opposite of that. And it's weird because if you're in New Zealand looking at it, I think as every day goes past, you guys got pissed off with the second little lockdown. I think when you look at the long tail of what this is doing for the economy globally, it is going to be disproportionately gnarlier for those, especially on this side of the world. Just because it's health has been politicized. So, what was on the streets of if you wear, a do-rag or a hat is what side you're on. In the States, if you literally go around and if you don't have a mask on, are you Republican or are you pro-Trump? Or if you wear a certain hat, it's insanely, health got politicized. And unfortunately, the long tail of it means it's going to be extremely bad financially for a lot of people, which is actually quite sad because which is a bit of a bummer. But it is super. I was up the other night and literally I was watching the TV and I just had a big bottle of bourbon and I'm just sitting there like, what's happening? This is stuffed.
Yeah, it would feel like that, man. Wow.
Surreal. Because when the riots went on, like this is what not too many people know, when the riots went on, we were so close to, or a tweet went out that was saying for a mob to come near where we live. And I slept on the couch with a loaded gun.
You would.
Like, I'm not.
But like, that's
I'm not even kidding. Yeah, Andrew's like, no, you're on the couch and you're taking the gun with you. And I'm like, what is happening here? Like, what? So I wasn't on the couch just per usual for my regular antics. I was on the couch for safety.
You had a role to play.
Whoa,
Does that blow your mind? Because that's not what you're used to, I guess. Like, that's not your norm.
No.
And that's why it's kind of funny. Right?
Yeah, and then even more ironically is last night, me and a couple of buddies, because you can't do anything really indoors but you go outside, we went to a gun range. So here I am on like the second day of the election looking around and it's just like Redneckville with like just pump gutches, just like, I'm like, what is this? It was wild, man. There's like everyone's skeet shooting and just like, America, USA. America.
Like
that's the thing though. Kind of a little bit. I just said to the guys, I was like, so ironically, it's right at the end of the middle of nowhere, and they sent a text message. Oh yeah, you'll go down a road and there'll be no lights or anything, but just keep going. It'll be totally fine. Like in the middle of the night, I was like, so just to be clear, you want me to go down a road with no lights on towards a whole bunch of rednecks with guns on the night of the election? They're like, yes. I'm like, okay, cool, bro. I mean, sounds good.
Oh man,
I'll bring the beer.
I know. Yeah. So how you guys? How's the show going? This looks awesome. Your branding's great. This looks awesome. You got the banter, you got the tag in, you got the detail style. This is awesome.
Loving it.
Learning off you, bro.
Yeah, definitely learning off you and just guiding the way. Big shout out to everyone that tunes in every morning and has a morning coffee with us. That's why we're here, bro. Straight up. That's like literally we're having yarns every morning. We get to hang out.
Yarns.
Yeah, the randomest yarns. But
you're doing it 5 days a week.
Yeah. 4 to 5 days a week.
Yeah,
Monday to Friday.
That is awesome. Good stuff.
just banging out, come have a morning coffee with us,
I don't know what time's
so
it over there.
Yeah, what is the time?
We were 5 hours ahead. Now it's 3 because we both had our daylight savings.
Right.
So I'll ask a meta question. I'm guessing if you talk every day, you probably talk about everything. How has the long tail of brand building actually worked for you, your brands, the business, the momentum, the community, the engagement, the whole snowball effect of continuous content work? Talk me through how it's worked. I guess we're going meta right now, but still.
I think it's worked in terms of like we just got the branding up, and it literally was just, let's come have a convo. Everyone come have a convo with us in the morning over the first lockdown, and it was keeping everyone in tune, and it brought. I think we were like the watering hole for everyone. I think. And then it's just taken off from there. And so when we came out of the lockdown, we had created something that we thought was only going to last the lockdown. And it's just evolved from there. And like literally now it's like pull up with your morning coffee and have a banter session with Auntie Mo and Chief. And
that's awesome.
We wouldn't be here without, again, everyone tuning in every morning. And we get a range of people, again, because the combos are random. We're talking about everything I think that we have experienced in our lives. We have some vulnerable days. We have some good days. We have some laughs. We have some embarrassing moments. And I think that's all part of that brand. Like, that's what we've created here for the space, to be chatting to you now. And bro, straight up, you are a catalyst for me to be here, standing here, believing in myself, just having these yarns with everyone. And I do get lots of messages from everyone saying how much they appreciate me rocking up at 8:08 a.m. in the morning, having a coffee and just having yarns. I hope that answers your question.
No. It's cool because I think a lot of the time, I guess if people are watching but don't understand the context of media and the business of what you're set up to do, they won't kind of get it. But what I've been impressed with is, say with lockdown, I got hit up by a million people. Everyone wanted to create shows and do all the stuff. Everyone wants the moment, but no one has momentum for sustainability for the long game ever. Like 1% do. Everyone is like, pop up, hey, I'm doing this thing, but there's no consistency. There's no ongoing thing to build because they wanted that conversion of like, I'm not selling more stuff, or this thing isn't working, blah, blah, blah. There's no true persistence with the production. And
so we're
the
over
long
100
tail of
episodes.
Yeah, it's amazing, but that's the point. And I think when all these other people come around, I think there's so much that you've clearly gained by having that consistency, and it's something that not many people do. Like literally, I think out of all the people I see come and go through trying to create shows and do this stuff, the retention rate's like 5%, if that, and then the frequency drops off crazy. But they all want that pop and that shine to start with, not realizing. They want the byproduct of the end, not realizing the actual mission of literally consistently every day and every day and every day and every day. People just don't do it, and they don't actually want to do it. They want the benefits and the byproduct of the pop, but they don't want the commitment to actually get there or the persistence to do it. So the resiliency, like mentally, for constant creation like that is something that the long game of it is insanely disproportionately higher than just like, hey, let me do an ad, because they feel like everyone that interacts with you, they feel like they know you, they feel like they genuinely know you, and I think that's where it's cool. And you own social time as well, which is genius. It's something that I've been talking about for years. I'm like, own time, because then it's the spot. And the same way, you could transition this to TVNZ or MediaWorks or whatever it may be. It doesn't actually matter, but you still own that time slot because it was a free slot. Like who owns the 8 o'clock slot? No one. It's great. So good.
And like going off the back of that, bro, I think also part of that consistency is like the mentality of it. Doesn't matter if there's one follower or one viewer or 100 viewers, we're still putting it out. Do you know what I mean? Like
people watch it later.
People enjoy watching the banter later in the afternoon, which I thought was like, at one point I was like, oh, is this the right thing to do? But it's paid off in the long run, like you said. So
hey, congratulations as well, bro. I hear you just got signed.
Yeah.
Legend. Look at you.
Yeah.
Hey?
Crazy. Guess who my first guess is?
Joe Rogan.
Meta World Peace. the NBA champion from the Lakers who played with
Oh, really?
Kobe and thing. The guy, the Malice in the Palace. Remember the guy who jumped in and tried to smash everyone in the Ron Artest. He changed his name to Meta World Peace. Sorry, but Ron Artest. Yeah, LA Lakers.
Wow.
NBA champion, defensive player of the year. Crazy.
Are you excited?
Crazy. Yeah, we did it yesterday actually, so it comes out next week.
Oh, man, bro.
Massive
Crazy.
congrats on that.
Yeah, it's wild. Like the yeah, this isn't actually even my job, but it's really cool.
I love that. I'm supposed to be doing this, but I love it.
It's really good. No, well, we worked out, you know, you guys up to 100 or something, and I did the math. I was just doing some stuff, and I was like, wait a second, I've done like 250 like interview episodes, but there's no structure or strategy or thing. I just do my thing, and it's been quite weird to watch it. But it's to that point we talked about before, Mo, of when you genuinely love it and you do it, you don't actually think of it as work, like genuinely, like you just do it because you feel that's your output. And how's the interactions and stuff from all the crew? Like they're into it, is the same type of community that are jumping in? Are they then engaging like what's the online to offline connection with the community?
Yeah, we're pretty lucky to have like within the gym community, everyone that tunes in. But I think outside we've had we get people like people from like the Gold Coast have reached out. We've had like all over Auckland,
Christchurch, Palmy, Hamilton,
even like to the point where I was like, I didn't know that they were watching. You know, so it's something that I'm also learning that part where I'm like, I thought it was only the community, but it's not. It actually extends out. Whangarei, Uppers Whangarei.
Yeah, that organic reach is quite interesting to watch. You see it happen quite a bit, and we've had some some guests as well come on, like yourself, and then we've managed to reach out to some YouTubers called the Buttery Bros. We've had them from the States come on. And it's been awesome. And this all stemmed really from COVID, when we wanted to try and connect with the community when we couldn't be with them. Thought we'd have breakfast together like we always do, and then it's just morphed into this.
But that's what I was saying before, is everyone jumped on that wagon for that moment. Like I got hit up by 20, 30 people like, oh, hey, what camera and lights do you use? And yada, yada, yada. Because they're all going to start a show and go virtual. And then they get like, they do two things and then piss off, and they're actually like, oh, this is actually work. Oh, it's not the conversion. And what I thought was interesting to talk about before, just with the numbers there, Mo, is, you know, if you got 1 or 100 or whatever, one of the biggest mistakes I think people do when it comes to content is thinking that the number actually matters. Like if you think about someone was saying, you know, just for every example, they're like, oh, you know, I spent $10,000 on a video and I only got 100 views, right? Well, it's out of context, because let's say, what if you were selling Lamborghinis, and out of that 100 views, it's a curated audience of millionaires, and one of them buys a Lamborghini? All of a sudden, does that $10,000 actually, is that a good ROI? The answer is shit, yes. It depends what the outcome is. But if I'm doing, and the other part to it is as well, that definitely is true on LinkedIn. I don't know where you're kind of syncing up the distribution of it, but if you start potentially going on pages and bits and pieces, the decision makers that exist in the business world and all the rest of it, I call them the LinkedIn lurkers. They won't they won't comment, but they consume. And the reason they don't like or comment or share anything is because they actually, so let's say if you work at ASB Bank and I work at BNZ, and you put an epic article out, and then I'm the CEO of BNZ and I like or share your article, that's not Rebet saying that, hey, I thought that's a really interesting article. That's BNZ giving props to its competition. So CEOs, that's why CEOs pretty much never comment, post, or share. It's because they don't represent themselves, they represent the organization. And what you'll find in these type of worlds, or with opinions or anything else, is if anything pops, usually super gnarly, that's intense, it'll never be public, that gets seen. It will be all the back channels of emails and the messages and the text messages and the phone calls and the offline stuff. So sometimes the numbers lie too, because if the engagement is sometimes way off on certain things, it's not actually because the content's shit. It's actually because maybe what you're specifically going after, they legally or whatever can't talk about it. And so there's all these different nuances that people won't see. But I'm interested with the with more the lifestyle escapism stuff of like, when you've got that banter and it's the morning coffee, you're probably talking about all sorts, you know, like what's the distribution that you're doing it on? Is it just straight streaming up to Facebook, or you going to other pages, or what are you doing?
YouTube and Facebook.
Facebook.
Nice. Would you do it on LinkedIn?
Would you recommend it? I mean, our conversations are pretty Like, bro.
What do you think mine are?
I know, but you're the like good political one.
Yeah, we
Whereas
actually are.
I'm like, bro, I'm talking.
I know you, Mo. Yes.
Bro, have you seen my
Oh,
armpits?
sure. I've heard you talk before. Yes.
I don't think my bro in a suit in LinkedIn, not being judgmental, would want to see my armpits on a Monday morning when I've told everyone that I've just dyed my armpit hair. But I mean, that's something that I do want to give it a nudge, because it's like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen, right? Like
Twitter's loose. Or do you what do you do after in terms of post production? Do you strip the audio out and then repost it through Anchor or something for
literally it's like I love our little content library, because it's like I sift through episodes and then I get snippets of it and then I just post on our Insta page and like just recycle our content that we've got. We've got a few things like quote of the day that we do at the end of each episode that we will post on our Insta and we share with all our followers. And what else do we do? We've got like, would you rather?
Outtakes.
Yeah, outtakes of that. We haven't hit the podcast yet.
No. So, because if you've got a regular banter thing, the reality is most of the crew, if they miss the show there, but then they're driving back, they're going to be driving that drive time spot of, if it's a show half hour, you should export out the audio of the whole show and then release that. There's a thing called anchor.fm. It got bought by Spotify, but then it syncs it to iTunes, syncs it to Spotify, syncs it to all the different audio outputs. Yeah. But it's and that's what I use. It's great, and it's just anchor.fm. But it means that say for you finish your show, you take the link, and then if someone is obviously when they're all driving, then you just get the audio, and it's just as good because it's not like you've got multi cameras and stuff, and the audio sounds great. So it could just extend that experience.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to be downloading that. Yes, what a Friday. What?
Was not expecting you to be on my
bro. But I honestly, I'm going to download that now. And so what you reckon we just extract the audio and then it's just another user experience, isn't it?
100%. Because if it's half hour of banter, people are usually driving for at least half hour to the hour. And even if they miss the morning slot, if they're going there, they can watch it. They could listen to it after when they leave.
Yeah.
So finish it, and then I think it's called Y3T, or there's a online conversion which literally you just plug the URL in of the live stream. It exports out a MP3 file, and then you upload that to Anchor, and then it instantly goes into all the different audio outputs all in one hit. Which is awesome. Yeah. And because I'm imagining already you could probably pre-stack the stuff you've done, and now you're at episode 100 and whatever. Yeah. And so straight away you've just got the stack. And obviously I'm guessing more of your stuff is more time-based or topical for the day. Yeah. So it might be a bit whatever, like episode 1, you might be talking about when it was still in lockdown, but now you're free. So it's like whatever, but it's more the fact that you've got the archive. Yeah. And then eventually it stacks it up. But that's, probably just another cool thing. That'd be cool. Right. Well, how do you like the Instagram live stuff? Do you do it on Instagram Live as well? What do you do?
We actually started on Instagram Live, bro. We started this as Instagram Live, but it just, I don't know if my bandwidth was, but I would do it with Mo. Yeah. I would cut out all the time, or it would drop. And then I actually saw you do StreamYard, and I just was like, man, how do you do that? And then we just came up with StreamYard and ran it straight like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if you could, are you reading this off? I know we're just gonna. It's like no one else is even watching. We're just on some other shit. Yeah, just yarns. Okay. But are you using a laptop with the Logitech Bro 4K at the top? Is that what you're doing?
No, we've got the what's it called? Link.
We got the Cam Link.
The 4K
Cam Link with the digital SLR.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
But right now we're just on the laptop. Yeah. Right now we're on the laptop, but other episodes we have been on the Cam Link.
Well, I'm wondering, like, you get the little extension audio on the side, and you could double stream it, because I know StreamYard doesn't go to Instagram, but if you did the phone with one of the Rode shotgun mic things at the bottom, you could then sync up and actually have the two cameras. So you got that one going to YouTube, Facebook thing, and then you have the exact same thing but with the different audio on the other one going into Instagram, so that you can kind of sync between the two.
But isn't IG Live 15 minutes?
Oh, is it only limited?
Yeah, unless you got the blue tick. If you got the blue tick, then I think you can go up to an hour. But I think if you don't have a blue tick on Instagram, you can only go up to 15.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's IGTV.
Oh, is it?
IG,
So IGTV,
But
IGTV.
but if it's IG Live, then
But I think IG Live's open.
oh, okay.
but
yeah,
you connected on Wi-Fi? What are you doing? Is it on just Wi-Fi there?
What is?
The internet that you use, or is it Ethernet?
Yeah.
So if it's I think it might be interesting, because then what you could do is any of the good stuff that syncs in YouTube and Instagram Live afterwards, you could just go back and screen record it, so you don't need to actually cut the episode up, and then it's going to have all the engagements and stuff with it, and then just sync that back through for the output. Just an idea.
Can you see how big this screen? No, that's a mean idea. And I'm grateful for this idea. Oh my god!
I can imagine 100 little robots inside your head going on screens.
Yeah,
I know. I just like no, because then it's more it feel more, I guess, like natural to that experience of if people are liking and commenting and sharing and whatever, and then you've just got the stream, and then it syncs back to it, right?
I think the struggle for me was like because you can't link Facebook and Insta to like the live stream or the live stream product, you can't link to Insta, right? So then I was like, the only way that I could come up with was Linktree and adding our link in the bio. So that would be that's how I would drive our Insta followers to Facebook, because I couldn't find another link. But now that you've said we can set up a live stream as well,
and then you run it back.
Yeah.
That's done by design, because they clearly just want it to be mobile only, so it's vertical and you're moving. They don't want it to be synced with all the other stuff, because then it makes a polished experience on something that's supposed to be raw. So it's probably just an internal tension from their teams to do it. But what I'm thinking is interesting is, instead of having to mess around with all that shit, you just go live on both. Any of the good bits you scroll to, record it, output. But then the audio chat between the two of them, you can just sync up to be like, oh yeah, we're streaming on Insta, and then that, and then your just audio soundbite just links both of them together anyway. So it'll save you so much time for everything, really. Which will be good. Anyway.
Oh my god.
And what else is up?
Hey, how your Raiders going, bro?
Dude.
Come on.
I'm trying to figure out. I know I'm still just not 100% sold if Derek Carr's the guy, and I don't know if Gruden really believes in him.
Yeah,
I can just like it, I don't know. He's good, but it's like, you know, it's like a stepdad telling their kid they love their stepson, they don't love them just as much as the other one, but you know, deep down, because it's not his, he probably doesn't.
It's exactly like that.
You know, it's like, and the way he looks at him, I just get this look of, anyway, so without getting into the detail, I feel that there's something just a little bit off, but he's almost there. And then the stadium looks amazing and great, and I'm actually, you can't get to it. There's not gonna be no fans this year, all the rest of it. But I've got a plan to try and do something with them for next year when they finally open, which will be cool. So we'll see.
That'd be epic. Bro, I want to know your thoughts on how the referendum and that happened. Like, what do you reckon? What disappointing? What?
Well, I've got kind of two thoughts. The euthanasia. Are you talking about euthanasia weed?
Yeah.
So euthanasia, 100% for me. Anyway, I think it's a great thing that was an option for people. Like I've seen, you know, people close to me going through stuff, which if that was an option, if I was them, I would have wanted that as a choice for myself.
Absolutely.
But then we had John Tamahiri on the show, and he was totally off it. And I said, oh, what's the reason? And he said, and his angle was, the average age of Māori and Pacifica is 7 years younger. So is this going to be just a kill switch to kill off more of our people? And I was like, I see that angle to a certain point, but from a health perspective, you know, if your grandma's got cancer and if she's there stuffed and is in pain and not happy and it's her life, shouldn't she have that right? So it's quite, but on the other side, it's like, well, it becomes a slippery slope, I believe, because where they're, I guess, worried about is then it's like, well, who's in their right mind to actually say yes or no to die and all the rest of it. You know, it gets very, and obviously there's very clear guidelines around it, and with the doctors and all the rest of it, there's a lot of stuff around it. So euthanasia, yes, which I think I think not, it's like awesome that people can die. It's like, if it's your body and if you're in a situation where I think they'd said, you know, medically there's 6 months to live and all the rest of it. So that was cool. The weed one is maybe a little bit different for me. Not that I'm the mad toker from Nam, but seeing just the commercial side of what it's done to the States has been really interesting, how they've created brands and billion-dollar industries. I mean, look, with big corp, pharma, and tobacco is trying to get in to commercialize weed, you know that it's because it's big mass demand, big supply chain supply, and a shit ton of cash and potential revenue out of it. So then, but for New Zealand being a small nation, unless there was a pure bespoke product to go internationally, I guess, but I don't know the ins and outs of all of it. What I do feel is that anyone in New Zealand's going to smoke anyway, so no one really cares. But if they did it, what I'd be actually more worried about is all of the billions that are currently going through weed, and if that gets legalized fully, where do they then move to? And knowing when you've got the problems, and this was a problem that they had in I remember Christchurch when I was like super young. I remember someone told me, that the cops let there was like the Highway 61 crew or whatever it was totally deal weed, because they knew that if they got off that, they'd go into pills and coke and meth and whatever else. So I think and maybe times have changed, but from the conversations I was hearing, they were concerned that the whole commercial entities would just shift up a level. And the next thing you know, they're going to flood because they've got to make their cash. So maybe it was a way to, those who are going to smoke are going to do it anyway. They then get their money, they can just piss around and do whatever. But I think there might be a big, and I don't know how much of an actual risk that is, but from what I've heard, that was it. What was your guys' tone on it? I was kind of a little bit surprised, but it felt like there was no real face to that movement either. There was no real Nando Tanchos of the 90s or whatever to say, we want to smoke. There was there wasn't like a hero for the cause, really, if that makes sense.
But I felt like it was plastered, or like all what I saw, the content that I was consuming was like, it was like a yes. So I was surprised and I was like, oh, it's a no. But then I wasn't. Like, there was a few, what's his name? Paddy Gower. I watched like when they were rolling out the episodes for like the debate and the Paddy Gower did 2 episodes on euthanasia and then the weed one. And I feel like the weed one that he did was that one for people that were sitting on the fence. I think they were then leaning towards yes. After that episode, they would have been like no. And I reckon that would have been the decision that made it. For me, I just reckon that I reckon the government's done it in they've gone too hard, jumped out the gates too soon. Like, I reckon we could even do it in levels. You know what I mean? So get everyone, because all the fence sitters are just like that. All like 10 years ago would have been like, no, no, no. They're at the point now where they're like, oh, actually, for medicinal value, it is actually kind of good. So they're seeing the point of it, but then they're still like got that past hint of like, no. And then I reckon that's where it's swinging, because again, like you said, we're not going to stop people from doing it. But yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah, it felt like an afterthought, really.
Yeah.
Like for me, I didn't see a lot of engagement around the euthanasia bill and the cannabis bill and the referendum itself. I actually didn't know that we were voting on it to about 3 weeks out. That just shows you, for me, a person who consumes a lot of social media because of what I do, it just wasn't as, like, you go to the States, it is plastered everywhere. I mean, I just saw in Oregon, they've just legalized possession of all drugs, cocaine and heroin.
Mushrooms or something, is it as well? There was Oregon?
Oregon have legalized Class A drugs, so you can possess heroin and cocaine and not get charged.
Wow,
that's the article I read this morning.
Is it kind of ironic as well, because New Zealand's a pretty mellow, open society. We say no, and then America, which is pretty rah-rah, it's it's getting bigger and more massive. It's pretty insane.
It's just that I guess the world is definitely spinning in different ways at the moment, and man, the end of the year cannot come fucking fast enough.
I know. How's the and what else is bubbling? What's the tone of business there right now? Like, what's the tone of business owners? Do they feel free? Do they look out at the world and realize that they're stoked they're there and can operate? Like, what's the tone?
Small businesses, bro, are struggling. Talking to a lot of business people who come to the gym, who are kind of like just over the small business to medium business. That kind of all right, like advisors and financial guys and like tradies, awesome. But a lot of these young small business boutique type sort of people, like they're like running on the smell of an oily rag at the moment because of people like doing things a little bit different. They might be cutting their own hair a bit more, might be doing their own lashes and nails a little bit more, doing their own lawns, not getting people to come in and do their lawns because they're trying to conserve cash flow. So there's kind of like that ripple effect that's happening within the area. I can tell you, commercial real estate's up the yin yang. Like I think after the first lockdown, there must have been 60 for sale signs down our road.
Jeez, I got a
pretty nuts, and that's on the shore, man, where it's all right. I would hate the thing what South Auckland's like.
Yeah.
I think we had Janine Crossan was on the show, and she talked about we're going into a fear-based economy. Fear of like it's not an offense mode. It's very defensive. It's like let me cut my own hair, let me do my own thing. I need to I guess like survival to many respects. And you just wonder how that changes the tone of things. Because if everyone goes on defense, like I do know. So when this was really one of the biggest, most interesting things I noticed during lockdown was a friend said to me, he goes, the millionaires are freaked out and are in defense. The billionaires are getting ready to come and play. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, billionaires go in decade cycles of how they see opportunities. They wait for everything to go to shit. They roll through, steamroll everything, take it all for cents on the dollar, build it back up, flip on the next. And that's how they roll. And the millionaires like, I should just pause and not lose. But ironically enough, I saw Carly just said their residential seems the same. In America, the two most expensive places to live are New York and San Francisco. The second the lockdown happened, obviously everyone's sort of pissed off, but then a big moment happened, I think it was in May, when all the big tech companies said every single worker doesn't need to come back until at least July or August 21. So over a year. And then what that meant was all of a sudden all the leases are like, piss off, we're out, all the things were out. So residential in the Bay Area, which is out where we live, went through the flipping roof. So now like housing prices that aren't in the city, you can't even almost get to, and they just get totally overpriced and stacked out. But like people buying houses blind. There's a huge exodus happening from New York down to Florida as well with zero state tax. A bunch of hedge fund billionaires took all their money and bailed down there too. And so you've kind of got basically an exodus from the big hubs of LA, San Fran, and New York, all going out. And weirdly enough, if people that work for those big tech companies leave the state, they're then saying, oh yeah, you can leave, but now we're going to pay you 20 to 30% less. And they're like, what? It's like, well, the living prices aren't the same. It's like, but I'm paid for my skill set, not my living costs, stuff you. And they're like, nope. And because what they're realizing is, someone who's on $200,000 a year can go to Idaho, buy a flipping $1 million mansion for like 12 cents. And the next thing you know, they're still getting paid the same San Fran rent without having to pay, $20,000 a month in rent or whatever it is, So the whole dynamics totally changed. So you're right there, Abe, with the commercial side of things. It's definitely,
and it's like I would hate to think, I was talking to Bex and that they're almost going on to their third wave of redundancies. I think they were talking something like about they had to find $240 something million this year. That's what Spark had to do.
Wow.
Well, you know what's stuffed about that is you guys only were actually locked down for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
I know, right?
No.
America's, is it 4 and 3?
I thought it was
5 and 3.
5 and 3.
5 and 3, sorry.
5 and 3.
So
But it was the level 3 lockdown that crippled everyone. Because when it was level 4, it was level 4. But that level 3 is kind of like business can kind of start to operate. And that's when everyone's kind of bumped up their prices. And then, but we were still kind of running at like 50% capacity. And then it just but we're only just coming right now, like literally, I would say this month, we have just survived the second lockdown. Like we're starting to recruit everything now.
Yeah. So that's going to be the interesting bit to see how that plays out. Because if, let's say for argument's sake, it's, you had 2 months of lockdown out of the last 8. California is still in lockdown in many respects, and we're in month 8. So I remember after the second week of the lockdown, I talked to a pretty big money dude, and he said he reckons it's going to be a 3-year claw out for New Zealand for the amount of loss of GDP and everything, just from that couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm saying what? And then so you look at the long tail of the headspace of a nation, of the financial implications, and that's only in 8 weeks. We're in 8 months over here. You still can't go and and what you're doing. So I'm just thinking, if 8 weeks can destroy a country for 3 years financially, and with the loans that they've taken out and the slush fund of the 50 billion and the what's that going to mean over here? Like it's. And then with the potential change in government, I mean, yes, a lot of people don't like Trump. Yes, a lot of people don't think Biden can do it. But, with the proposed tax rate that they're thinking going up to was like 63% or someone for these richer groups, they're not going to be able to pay that. So they piss off. And I watched a really interesting interview with Rudy Giuliani, the ex-mayor of New York. And I understood his angle. Don't agree with how they got there, but I understood the angle. He said, everyone gives the billionaires the 1% shit. You totally get that. He's like, but the problem is what's happening right now. All the billionaires are leaving to Florida and they're taking all the cash in their businesses with them. And that 1% that they gave all the shit to pays 50% of the tax for the city to actually operate. So if we lose 50% of the operations, what do you think the other 50 is going to actually be able to double up that to play catch up? So then, the average Joe that's working in the grocery store then is paying that tax, and you never think of how it actually plays out. And where I disagree with him is obviously how they got there in power and blah, blah, blah. But he's totally right. And when when the 10 hedge fund billionaires all pissed off, the impact of what that's going to mean for the city taxes is huge. And then when you look at the collapse in commercial real estate market with everyone pissing off out of the city, how do you rebuild that? What, are you going to have to convert commercial into residential to get people back in there and lowball them? Are you going to have...
it's a buzzy scenario, dude, because you've got, New Zealand is actually like, it's almost like the perfect test case for the world, right? Because
I actually feel like we are that.
Because we're a small nation.
We are that.
Hey, try this, and if it works for you, you can do it on a grander scale. The only problem with America, you guys are so big. Like, it's so big that, what happens on the East Coast could not even affect what happens on the West Coast. And so what they're doing on the East Coast, you can't do on the West Coast. And it just becomes a kind of melting pot of just bad. And I think it has this concertina effect. And at the moment, you see there's a real us and them attitude, right?
100%.
Democrats versus Republican, guns up, shoot back, guns down, hands up. Like it's, I don't see how America is going to come out of this in my lifetime. It might do.
Well, the tech thing was interesting because Trump was trying to make it a lot tougher for these visas for all the skilled international migrants and stuff to come over. The bit that I think a lot of people miss with that thing particularly, that is the brain trust of all the IP that sits in the software companies, which makes the shit ton of money for the government itself. So I understand the argument of flooding the immigration system with a bunch of people that don't add value to the economy. I get that. But if you have highly skilled migrants who are quantum physicists from flipping India and China and Korea that are trying to get over to work for a Microsoft and a Google and Amazon, they're bringing value in. The biggest risk that I see is what happens if that power starts to leave the States, if it goes virtualized. I mean, you look at Twitter and some of these bigger companies, they're just saying, our business is fully virtual now. It's just going to take one or two countries to like a Singapore or someone to say, okay, Facebook and your Tesla and the whatever, just roll over this way. Just change your headquarters here, run it all through us, good to go. And the same way that, New York loses the billionaires for all that stuff, if California loses that tech money, that's a big issue. If Hollywood loses that production money, which they are, because more and more productions are getting done off-site. I mean, Netflix and Amazon are shooting in New Zealand, and if everyone starts fragmenting out through the global ecosystem and the dollars aren't running through that point, that's tax revenue they're not getting. So when I look at it, I just see like and then what will happen, and then what will happen, and then what will happen, and I'm like, holy shit, and that's why even today is like even more important, with the political side, because it is going to have a huge impact on, whoever is in is going to have clearly defined roles with who they let in and out of the country, what tech goes, like what's the status on business and progress and yada, yada, yada. But, and on top of all that, we're now seeing rising spikes in cases, and now you've got rallies with hundreds of thousands of people. The year 2020 has been a flipping write-off for so many.
Do you reckon, bro, it's been the year that we've been entered into this digital virtual world, like properly? Like if you look outside looking in, we've actually gone, because on that lockdown, like working from home wasn't a thing, right? It wasn't a thing, and now it's a thing. And people are working from home at least 3 times a week or 2 times a week. And is that the new norm? The norm was 9 to 5. And so like I'm hearing conversations of like, actually I worked from home today. I was able to clean the house, do all the chores and and like the morale of the person is like, they're good, they're happy. It's a well-balanced lifestyle now. So, but do you think we've entered, now this year, 2020, we've entered the virtual world properly?
By force. So 2 things I feel have happened. Like a friend of mine runs a big company, couple hundred staff. Overnight, he had to switch everyone virtual, and they'd been trying to do this digital transformation piece for years. Oh, actually, Clive Omrod, CEO of Les Mills, he was on the show. He said, our strategy stayed the exact same. It just got expedited 3 years worth of transformation in 3 weeks. But the strategy was the same. For my other buddy, he said, I'm trying to educate 60-year-old dudes on what Microsoft Teams mean. So there's this huge IP gap of digital literacy to actually be able to operate in the new world, and it's been done by force. But what's now happening is then all these decision makers, if you're a decision maker, usually you've got space at home, usually it's not carnage, usually you've got a bit more upside in life opportunity. They like working from home, not being stuck in all the traffic or whatever. So when you come back, and if you're a business owner, it's like, oh, well, it was sweet for me because I got space and can play with the dog and do whatever, and then I don't need to be in. It's like, maybe, do we need such a big of an office? Maybe we don't need that. Oh, wait a second. Oh, I could save 150 grand on that lease. Oh, wait a second. If we rolled this out, oh, wait a second. Maybe if we've got 1,000 staff, but we only keep an office for 400, and we offer half the people work from home with a 50% capacity, all of a sudden they've actually just made $500,000 just for one decision, acting like a good bastard to the business, but then actually means that they can just stay at home and watch football on the couch and make a couple of calls because they're their exec. But the flip side of that is young Johnny, young mum that is stuck at home with 2 or 3 kids with the husband working as well, trying to navigate that whole thing in a cramped small apartment somewhere. They can't go anywhere to do it. Nightmare. Like I talk to some people, nightmare. And so it's very polarizing because depending on your home environment, and some people, they go to work to escape home. Like kids, when they were like, I was talking to, who was I talking to about it? Maybe it was, I think it was Lisa King from Eat My Lunch. She said, one of the biggest things that we're worried about is a lot of kids escape home to be safe. And now they're stuck in situations and environments that they're actually not safe. So like but you never think of that. If it's like, if you're the CEO and you got the shit, it's like, fuck, whatever. But it's all relevant to that person. So, but to answer the question, sorry for the rant and ramble, but yes, I think commercially more efficient. Yeah, it's forced. It was forced transformation, and a lot of them didn't like it. But what it was very clear happened is between round 1 and round 2, round 1, they thought we were going to reset and reimagine, and then it reopened back up and everyone kind of went back to how things were. And then the second one happened, they're like, oh shit, this could happen again. Then it was fear-based, which meant we have to get these structures in place or we may not be able to survive for the next time it happened. Because remember, everyone was just going along like life's all gravy, and then it was like, oh, and you're back in your house. Everyone's like, what the fuck? So I think there was a lot of naivety in leadership in business when that first one, and this is just from the outside because I obviously haven't been home in a little bit, but yeah, that second one definitely put fear through everything because it's like, oh, this could just happen again and we could just lose our business overnight. Like, because if an old mate down at the airport didn't wash his hands and touched some bag that got some chick in the cafe at the hotel sick, like, oh, stuffed. So there is that tinge of fear, it feels.
It's definitely, I personally, I'm different to everyone else, but I love it because I liked to see the change, and I can also see the change. So when this whole scenario happened, it was like, it's also forced me into a situation. For me, it worked out best for me because I could then have 5 weeks to hone in on the things that I wanted to up my skill set. And it felt like I was in the run with some people that actually got certificates on their wall, and I was in the run with it. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's worked out for me on that side because I can see it. So that whole digital side, I'm like, we haven't even touched the sides yet. Like the whole virtual world, I'm like, yeah, I do get the CEO part and how he's just on the couch and that. But then I'm like, is that a slow transition into like what is it called? Hot
Hot
desking.
desking.
That's a thing, but it's not really a thing. Like it hasn't been. It's not normal yet for us.
Adopted, yeah.
And that's so I'm like, is that the transition into that? Even though the CEO's only got a building of, one building for his staff because most of them work from home, or like, does it then go? Is it cheaper for the boss to rent out a little apartment so then like that those employees in Auckland can all go there? Like those are scenarios that I can see when you present that scenario of the CEO and then we lose that building and the working from home is hard for that family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just my
100%.
tangent on that.
Now, one other interesting bits that I saw roll through it is there's a headspace shift of, like, say for me personally, when I'm in New Zealand, that's when I would be the most effective with time, right? Because I'm with people, I'm getting shit done, just like, just boom. Then I was over here, and every time I'd fly back to the States, I would feel that I was not as productive because I wasn't in the room. And if my energy wasn't in the room, I wasn't able to do the thing. And then when this happened, I remember it hit a moment. I was like, wait a second. Every single person that's in business in New Zealand is in a room somewhere with an internet connection. Wait a second, I'm in a room with an internet connection. Wait a second. And what turned into the biggest liability of physically not being there actually became a huge, insane asset, because I realized that I know how to do this world better than all you guys. And you're just learning on day one. And I've already been in this for flipping 10 years. Yeah. So actually, the biggest liability became the biggest asset and strength. And then everything, it was a mindset shift. But then I was like, wait a second, it doesn't matter if I'm in Greenland or Aussie or this or that, because if all the operational systems aren't physically based and it's virtual, and if I'm virtual, but I've already been doing it anyway, and I know how the digital world works, I've actually probably got more of an upside than they do. Yeah. And it like a switch flipped, and I was like, wait a second, I can actually go, now I can move faster than you online, and we're on the same playing field, but I already know how to play this game better. You guys are stuffed, so it was but it was an interesting moment for that, because physically I would always think that I would be, if I wasn't physically there, I couldn't, have impact or effect or whatever. And obviously, like we know each other reasonably well. Like I've been definitely able to do shit not there. And that's great, Yeah.
Making moves, bro. Hey, we need to wrap up because everyone's, we've got things to do today.
Yeah.
But I want you to pick a number between 1 and 365.
7.
Oh, I think
7.
that's already been. That's my number.
What?
I think we've already had 7. I just want you to pick a number. Go in the hundreds. I'll go 107, eh?
What
or
is
77. What about 77? You choose.
Sure.
77, did he say?
Yeah.
Sure,
okay.
77.
Okay, quote of the day.
Actually, 24. 24.
Okay.
Kobe! Okay. I think this is a good one. Ready? Quote for the day.
What are we doing?
I'm doing quote of the day.
Sorry. Is that
and
the number?
That's the number that you've picked for our quote.
Got it.
Because
go for it.
If you do not go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you do not ask, the answer will always be no. If you do not step forward, you will always be in the same place. That's how we're going to.
For you.
Yeah, go on then. Hit us, bro.
Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers.
Oh,
that is a goodie. Hey man, thank you for joining the banter this morning, bro. It's been epic. We might have to do this again because these yarns were so good. They were so good. Thank you again. Sending all the good vibes for the weekend. Good luck.
Yeah. For us, my bro.
Stay safe, bro.
USA.
And,
USA. USA.
USA.
Canada.